right. Good evening. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Check, check. Is this thing on? Good evening, everybody. All right, good. You can hear me. Welcome to Evening Markets. We're going to be looking at a few things growing together. You know how we do for Evening Markets. Cut this down a little bit so I can hear myself. It's good to be on again. It is 8 p.m. Central. We're going to go ahead and get rolling with Evening Markets. If you have something that you want to look at, something that you want to talk about, tonight is the night to do it. I feel a good teach coming on. All right, I'm getting everything situated, and then we're going to jump into the markets. And so bear with me here. All right. Cool. Bear with me here. Put that right there. How about that? All right, cool. Good evening. Let's get going. Father, we thank you for another opportunity to glorify your name, to advance kingdom. We ask for your spirit to be with us. In everything that we do, we give you praise, honor, and glory, that you be magnified, that you be exalted. That is our number one goal, that you said seek first the kingdom, and all of these things will be added to us. And so we're seeking first your kingdom, that we're discovering, even as we trade in the markets, we're discovering more of who you are. Things that are in us are being uprooted, and you're using this market as a tool. And so as we grow, you would have us to prosper even as our soul prospers. So we thank you for this mission, the assignment that's on this community. Help us to prosper even as our soul prosper. We give you the praise, honor, and glory for it in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so let's flip to the chart. Get your questions and different things ready. This is going to be some chart time, so we can see what's going on here in the market. And it seems like forever since I've done this. Seems like forever since I've done this. But it hasn't been forever. All right. Okay, we're looking at Nikkei. All right, Tim, stop multitasking. We're looking at Nikkei. All right, looking at Nikkei. I do have a trade on. I switched to the paper trading account for this live session, but may switch back to my Tradeovate to show you what position that I have. I'm actually in a buy on this one. But let's look at it and see how we're evaluating this. Okay, let's get going. Let's start top down. It is a Tuesday, right? Yeah, it's Tuesday the 30th. July is almost over. Time flies when you're having fun, I guess. Good evening, Mia. Good evening, Paula. Good evening, Brian. Good evening, Michael. Good evening, Brother Tim. Priscilla's on. Good evening. Good to see you. Yeah. Thanks for joining. All right, we're looking at Nikkei. Let's see if we can find a trade here. And we talked about fair value gaps and Fibonacci and support and resistance and a lot of different things. So we're going to chart that way. We're going to do a top-down analysis tonight. All right. Top-down analysis for Nikkei, what we can see is that we had this surge candle. This is a 1, 2, 3 candle pattern. We see the top wick of the third candle, bottom wick of the first candle gives us a fair value gap. That's the fair value gap that's right there. Let me enlarge this for you so you can see it. All right, so that's the fair value gap that's right there. And then we can see that price pushed up and came back down and grabbed liquidity out of that fair value gap. And as we always note that when you're placing your stops on those fair value gaps, once it pushes past the stops have to be extended down a little bit, because you can see this little liquidity, right? This little liquidity grab right here on that fair value gap, stopped out a few positions before pushing to the top side. All right, so we got to be careful of that as we're going. So this is the monthly chart here. Fair value gap came and grabbed that. We're trading above the fair value gap. It pushed to make a high, and on the month of July, it pushed to make the high, busted right through 40,000 and pushed to 42,670, and then pushed back down. Brittany, good evening. Good to see you. Welcome to the broadcast. All right, so now it pushed back down to this fair value gap. That's a lot of the stuff that we've been covering is fair value gaps, how to look at direction. We know that this is the direction, but now we've got some exhaustion, and now it's coming back into this fair value gap. So we got to make the decision, is this fair value gap going to hold, or are we going to bust through it? And the next one that we're going to find is probably on, and I'm just looking at the month, we're going to go down. Monthly has nothing to do with the way we're going to trade tonight, but we need to know where we're at in space, right? So whenever you're charting, put in the work. Do your charting time from the month down, because you want to know where you're at in space. You don't want to jump down to the minute immediately and then be like, oh, I don't know why things are happening the way it's happening. Well, it's a move within a move inside of a move, right? So let's take some time just to evaluate where we're at. And right now we're retesting this fair value gap in this gray block area. If it breaks through there, that fair value gap is no longer valid. It's probably coming down to retest structure. So how does structure work? Higher highs, higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher highs. So we may, if we break through this, we may be coming to test this structure right here, right? In terms of fair value gap, if you was treating on this, and you know, top-down analysis don't take this long, but I want to explain it to you. So you have 1 candle, 2 candles, 3 candles. You know that the top wick of the first candle, and that won't qualify for it, because the body of this candle is too involved with this third wick. So we can't do it that way. There's not a fair value gap here, but there is structure. All right, so everybody see that, and we're on the monthly, so you know it's not going to make sense here, but you'll see. So if it busts through this, then it's coming down to retest here. All right, so we get that. You know, that's pretty simple. So let's jump down to the week, and let's turn on fair value gap. Let's turn on the indicator, the Lux Algo indicator, since all of you love indicators. Okay, so you can see this fair value gap here. If it busts through there, I have the structure being retested. Really, this is a fair value gap in here, but I have the structure being retested if we bust through, okay? All right, so that to make up a candle, that takes like 30 days. Do you got 30 days to, and some of you may, to wait on that move down? If you have your own personal account, if you're funding your own personal account, yeah. But if you're in a prop firm, you got to close by the end of the day. So you don't have time for that, but we need to see where we're at. All right, so weekly, and let me just do this. There is divergence here. You see the shark fin that was created in February, March candles. That was the shark fin here on the TDI. Then we could see that we pushed up higher, right, in July and created divergence, right? Divergence is a signal of reversal. This is a trend is going up, the reversal's happening down, so it's counter trend. So that is what we call regular divergence, right? Regular divergence usually plays out down to 50. Oh, the 50's way down here at this structure. So if we were just trading technicals alone, we would be looking at a move on higher time frames that look like this. A retest of the trend line. All right, we'll turn that 50 off because that's on the trend line. We are aware of that. So if we were looking for a higher time frame move, we were swinging, we say that, hey, what do I want to do for August? Well, August, I want to put a stop loss. I want to enter in here. I want to put a stop loss above the high. I want to carry it down to here. And I want to walk away for the rest of August and see one big red candle, right? That would be nice. But that's not how we trade with futures. We manage our trades. All right, so now we know where we're at in space. So weekly, jump down to the weekly. We could see that weekly has divergence, but it has divergence to the upside. So this was the last low. Here's the low that we're currently at. We can see that this is the last low on the TDI. This is the low that we're currently at. We could see that those two, TDI and price action, are going in different directions. Oh, okay. Well, what that's happening, that is happening at a fair value gap, right? So there is signaling a reversal here, right, as a possibility. That's what the week says. These are week candles. It takes 5 trading days to equal 1 week candle. Do you have 5 trading days to see what this candle is going to do? No. So the week says that there's going to be a possible reversal. Doesn't help us right now if you're trading on a 1 minute chart. So let's keep going down. The daily is here. Okay. Now we like the daily because these are things that we can start eyeing for a trade. We know that we're on a fair value gap. We know that if the fair value gap breaks, that we're coming down to another level. We also know that we created higher lows here, and then we created a higher high, right? And then we came down, and we haven't broken through these higher lows, right? So this fair value gap right here is technically acting as support right now. All right. Now this is the thing that I like to see, is that we have this momentum coming down to support. And then we get these tweezer tops that pop up here that says this is an important level that we haven't been able to close above. All right, so let's zoom in on those tweezer tops. All right, so it's not necessarily tweezer tops. They're not equal tops, but we can see that there is some resistance right here. So let's leave this blue line in. We know that this is a fair value gap, right? So we can remember that. We don't have to leave our chart messy. We can click on this and get rid of it because we know we're at a fair value gap. We know if it breaks through this wick, that then the fair value gap is canceled. We're coming down a little lower. So let's clean it up. Let's get rid of that, right? We know that that was a trend from this last low that was here, but not significant to how we want to trade right now. Let's get rid of that. Right. So all we have right now is that we know that this consolidation is sitting on a fair value gap, and that the last move was very bearish. And then we know that we're reaching a level of resistance up here. Right. We do know that. But we're at the same time in consolidation, we're creating these higher lows. Right. So really the focus, even though we wanted to do the top-down analysis, but really the focus is on what's happening right here in this consolidation. That's what we're going to be trading tonight, because that's the only thing that's going to happen. It's not what's on the monthly. It's not going to happen, but what the monthly help us to do is saying that this is a key level. This is a fair value gap that you're trading off of. So buys could come in here. Then at the same time, your buys have a ceiling, right? So that this is a ceiling up here. Well, we're at 38,245. That's all the way up at 38,825. So we're talking about hundreds of points to get up there, thousands of ticks to get up to that point. Is that going to happen? So that's why that is significant, knowing where you're at in time and space. All right. So that was the day. Let's go down to the 8 hour, where we can see a nice gap here. But what we can see is price pushed down. This created a fractal, a cup to get out of. And what it looks like to me is this cup in, we call it the cup in handle, cup and handle. So you have the cup here, and then you pull back to the handle, and usually these go and up to the top side. So a possible reversal pattern that we may be able to see, even though we have a down move, at least up to where we're getting the exhaustion at, right? Is something that could occur. All right, so jumping down to the 4 hour, I'm gonna move through this pretty fast now. Now we're getting down into trade territory. We isolated, we know where we're at in space. We got a fair value gap that we rejected off of. We're getting resistance up here. We've come down, we've broken the low. So now it has traders confused. Which way is it going? This is a confusing area, not high probability, but we do see some structure coming into play, even though it's not strong structure right now. We have old resistance turning into support right here, right? So we got to keep an eye on this area if we're going to come up and retest, right? 4 hours pretty high. It's touching the bands, but it does have room to go up, right? Does have room to go up. Turn on our volume weighted average, the VWAP session, anchored to the session. Let's just call it that. VWAP. All right, so we're at VWAP. This dotted line represents the session open. We're right here at close to zero, and we're breaking above it. So we need candles to show us that we're going to stay on top of this, right? Because it can go either way. We have pressure to the downside. We have the double tops here. We have the break of structure right here. So definitely a rejection to the downside is possible. So we got to be careful of that. Let's jump down to the hour. Turn off VWAP. We know where we're at in space, in time. And so now we're starting to look at trades for the hour. We know where we're at. We know we're on a buy value gap, but now we're starting to see these sell fair value gaps come in, where this is a big momentum candle down. So we know this whole zone is a sell fair value gap. Turn that on. Yeah, you can see it. Like now it's selling. And then even up here, we have a bunch of sell fair value gaps that we're rejecting off of. All right. Let's turn that off. And let's just look at price action for what it is. All right, so we're going to pull TDI down. We have somewhat of a naked chart, not a lot of indicators on the chart right now. And now we're going to evaluate the TDI. You see how fast the TDI is rising right now? And how this peak is right here? And then how little price is rising. So this consolidation is really just producing rejection areas here. That the move and the breakdown right now says, even though we want to catch sales up or buys up, right now what TDI is saying on the hour is that we potentially could be seeing the bears come into the market. All right, so I still think we're going to push up, but now where's the bears going to come in at? And really what we're looking for is for the hour to produce some kind of divergence, right? That would be great at the 50, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be great to have some rejections right here and we can catch sales and go to sleep? But guess what? Market doesn't want to move right now. So that's why we call it slow markets. This is the evening. Dr. Lakeisha, good to see you on. I hope you're enjoying vacation. Thanks for popping in. All right. So there's that. All right. So we're just watching price action. We're watching the candles, doing candlestick anatomy, seeing how the candles are looking. Got a lot of wicking to the downside that's dipping into this fair value gap that's down here and pushing to the upside. Where it's pushing to? Probably to the 50. And then maybe a little bit further, maybe a retouch of this, but it's pushing up right now. So for this candle, if you look at the hour, the 7 o'clock candle, Usually the 8 o'clock is continuation, or it's going to be reversal, right? Right now you have the tweezer tops, but let's just see if it dips down into, because only thing that it's doing right now is creating a really nice fair value gap right here. All right, so let's see if it jumps above the tweezer tops and then come back down. All right, we're just looking at setup, and it's just dancing a little slow. This is 7 o'clock candle. 8 o'clock candle opened up, pushed up to the high of the 7 o'clock, and we haven't been able to break above that. All right, so let's jump down to the 45-minute. All right, so we can see that we're climbing higher, and you know, this is the peak. This is pretty telling that sellers are still in the market. Like, you have all of this red. We push up just a little bit, and all of a sudden TDI is way up here. So that tells us that sellers are in the market. That if you're a buyer in this market, it's going to be really, you may win, but it's going to be a difficult win. Like, you're going to go to sleep fighting all these sellers. Like, that's tough. All right, the sellers failed, or the buyers failed up here, fell down. You had this big move. Sellers came in, took that move out. Now you're fighting up against buyers, right? With no real momentum in the 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock to get it. So I think 8 o'clock may be a turnaround candle for the night. And I would have loved to see that turnaround have some force with it, have an engulfing candle, because this is consolidation. This could be liquidity. So love to see an 8 o'clock engulfing candle here. Well, that's good. You're having a good time. And yeah, we miss you too. Looking forward to you coming back. All right, let's jump down to the 15-minute. All right, we're starting to get that we'll see what this does here. All right, because these sales are shaping up. Very choppy price action. Like, this isn't clean at all. This is consolidation. It's not clean. If you're in a position where you're not doing well in these type of markets, okay, join the party, because a number of traders don't. Like, you want clean. This is clean price action here, where price is in consolidation. It's unclean, then it drops, comes back and retests, and then continues to drop. That's clean price action. All right, this isn't clean price action because it's not going anywhere. So if you were expecting buys, you say, oh, this is a buy candle. It's just moving sideways, just going down, going up. So whenever you observe the waters like this, tread lightly. When the waters start making ripples, going sideways, tread lightly. Like, it's fun when the waters are moving and flowing. You can just jump in and ride the waves. But the waves are not here this evening. All right, going down the 5-minute. You see how we walk down from the monthly? We know exactly where we're at. Now we're at the 5-minute. We saw the tweezer tops up here on the weekly. Then we spotted tweezer tops down here. No, this was on the day. These were tweezer tops on the day. These two. And then we come down here, we spotted this on the hour, I think it was. And so now we're seeing, we set some limits here, right? And so we've evaluated ourselves out of a job tonight. We said, this is too choppy. And that's kind of some of the consensus that you're going to get if you're looking to hold something overnight. You want clean price action, and the waters aren't clean. It's choppy. This is choppiness. Like, it's not trending. It's not creating new highs and new lows. It's going from down to forward. So you need to see something break. One, I would like to see this broken, or I would like to see this blue line broken. One or the other. Then jump to the one and different things like that. Choppiness. All right. So I know some of you like trading the range when it moves sideways, top of range, bottom of range. And so we may be able to do some of that tonight. All right. So that's where we're at. This is what the market is giving us, is a consolidation is what it's given us. And if you are a disciplined trader, which I'm sure all of us are sometimes, right? We should be all the time. All right, so sideways action, that's choppiness. We kind of put the brakes on. But if we push up, come retest, and we start trending, yeah, we got a target, 38.8. That's where it rejected before, for it to come up there and do its thing up there. Right? If these tweezer tops are the rejection area, we have another target. That would be to the downside. You grab the short position. And here's the thing about fibs. Let me show you something on fibs. Because you're measuring the retracement. And if the retracement has already occurred, you want to start where the tracements, where the movement starts. So for instance, let's make this make sense. The movement started here, but then it retraced up to here. So you don't want to put the fib up here. You want to put it right here, because this move is already done. That retracement's already done. All right, so where I'm going to put the fib is right here, because that's the move that's going on. And then I look for, when did it retest the 23.6? So at least. And so we can put this down. Yeah, it retested 23.6 before coming back down. So we can leave it right there. All right. So right now we're rejecting off of 38.2. And so if this level breaks, our take profit, if we're on the shorts, so let's say we're going to the highs. Highs has take profits going up to 38.8. Lows have take profit 1 at 36.980, take profit 2 at 37.780, take profit 3 at 37.525. Right? So out of consolidation, it's not showing us upside or downside action. And during those times, especially in evening markets, we just sit on our hands, because we gotten some great moves. We made $10,000 and some great moves and talked about it in the morning. But a lot of times your evaluation is to keep you safe. You know, it's like, it's not just, you're not just here to make money. It's you're here to make wise decisions. And sometimes the wise decisions is to not take a trade when it's not giving you that. You know, most people see that 7 o'clock candle, like, oh, I want to catch the momentum and get in on that. And look, it's eating. You're in drawdown right now. I like this retest right here, but we need to see something. It needs to show us something. All right. So while that's happening, we reach the 8:30 mark. Let's jump over to gold. Right? Because when you know how to trade, you look at what you want to see. If you want to see moving markets, there may be another instrument that is moving. All right, so let's look at gold. We evaluated this morning in the morning markets, and it's close to hitting the take profit that we had marked out from this morning. And that was here from this morning. Like it's if you held this all day, I guess we wouldn't have been able to hold it past 4 Central Time. So mute point. And that's Monday. So today's Tuesday. So it was really right here, wasn't it? And pushing up. All right. So this was fair value gap. That's why we marked this. This is structure, right? This is 2,400, where we could see a lot of testing of 2,400. Now, first glance, markets are not moving. I can tell you that right off the bat. Markets are not moving. It's waiting for the Fed rate decision tomorrow, right? So investors aren't taking the chance during these evening markets, where we got in the morning, or actually in the afternoon, we got unemployment claim stuff in the morning, and then in the afternoon we have Fed rate decision. So markets are at a standstill. All right, but what we can see here is similar to Nikkei, but the structure is a little different. That we come down in this down pattern, and we got a nice trend. We got this inverted head and shoulders, which is the reversal, right? That reversal took us up to old resistance, or old support turning into resistance, right? We got the sell off because old support turning into resistance should produce a new low, right? But because it doesn't, then this is the change of structure right here. Is that resistance should have produced a low, it didn't. It hung out a little bit. And now it's climbing higher. And what did it do? It broke this neckline right there. And that is similar to what Nikkei is trying to do. Where you have the cup, handle, break above structure, and start heading up. So that's kind of what gold is doing, but it's not doing it fast. But that's kind of what gold is doing. Take profit 1 is hit here, take profit 2 is going to hit, and then possibly take profit 3 is going to hit right where old resistance was. If we climb on top of that, then we could go, which is a possibility this week with NFP coming on Friday. All right, so that's kind of what I'm thinking about for gold. Any other charts that you want to look at, that you want to evaluate for coming into NFP week? I will show you just really quick what I'm looking at on NQ. Let me go to a higher time frame. This is a trade that I'm looking at for NQ. We've gotten way down here. These lower time frame shark fins work out really well on NQ. So you get a pullback like this, and then you get the move like this. So what I'm looking at is we're pulling back to 61.8. That will probably end up producing a new high, and this is just a fib related deal. And I do trade out of a personal account. So a personal account, you can swing trade these. We're starting a new month. So August, I can hold this for the month. So that's what I'm looking for. See if that happens. And testing some stuff out. If you're on Huddle Call Sunday, we're going to be talking about some of this stuff. All right, so that's what I'm looking for there. And the way that I'm getting into this. Glad you asked. Is different I got in way down here. Or no, at this break, when we broke through, and this is what I'm talking about. For when you get this consolidation, you're looking for the breakthrough. You can enter in off the break of that resistance, and then that resistance serves as support when you start to climb up and the TDI starts shaping up in your favor. So that's kind of the stuff that I'm looking for Nikkei as well. All right, so having said that, we did break above this liquidity level. Liquidity level. We did break above this resistance, kind of cracked that during 7 o'clock. Right, then we came down, TDI is fallen. We like the way TDI is fallen. So we probably can consider this. I don't like it on the higher time frame, but we can't on the lower time frame. We probably can't consider this range low. Retest of old structure right here. Old resistance turning support. Just for the range, just to establish range. Like again, choppiness. Like if you have someone that says I know exactly what it's doing based off of, you have resistance up here, and then you have resistance here. You're in between. You're in a range, so it's a guess at this point. Like, you're not going to find longevity by just taking a guess. You need a trigger. And so until this gives us that, like, I wouldn't be upset with this trigger here. I'll just be honest. Is old resistance being broken and then retested. I would establish this as range high or range low. Enter the trade to go up to the top here as a possibility. So cool. All right, so what are we thinking tonight? What are we thinking? We looked at gold. We kind of know what the format is for gold on that. Knowing when to get in and out of these trades are going to be important. It's going to save some accounts. Knowing when to get in and when to get out. Knowing how the markets are moving. Knowing what you're looking for when you see things moving. Like this, for instance, you love stuff like that. It's moving. You get a reversal, you can catch it down. It gives you the signal at old support. If you stretch this to the left, old support has that liquidity zone, gives you that signal, take it to the downside. That's the kind of stuff that we love. All right, so we're going to keep our accounts safe. That's what we're going to do. We got Fed rate decision in the morning, in the afternoon, at right after lunch. We got job claims in the morning, and so we're going to keep our accounts safe tonight. There's a few things that I wouldn't be mad at. I mean, trading the range, but probability. You can control a lot of things, and you talk about probability in these trades. There isn't a lot of probability out of this consolidation. Like, you're dancing around. You're staying on top of VWAP, which is good. And I do like the buys here, though. I do. There you go. I do like the buys here. All right, let's look at some other markets. Let's look at, and you know what? I know we get the yen announcement here. We're going to get Fed rate decision on the yen. So let's look at the Japanese yen futures. That's going to happen tonight. That's weighted against USD. We can see what that's been doing. And I gotta change the contract. This contract's expired. That's June, so probably it's September. Let's get rid of that. Let's click the plus button. Where is the plus button? There it is. Let's go to futures, JPY. And I love the skill set that you can, I think U is that. Let's also bring in a continuous chart for JPY, and then we'll pull that up. Because if I don't find the flow, I can hunt for something that is giving me the flow that I'm looking for. Like pricey chop, price action. May not take that, but I can find something where I can get in, where I fit in. There we go. That is Is this a continuous chart or is this one? Oh, this is September contract. All right. We'll look at the September. Let's look at the continuous. All right. You know what I like about JPY? I'm gonna tell you this. So we get fund rate decision at some point today. But this should not be happening. I mean, I guess we have been in consolidation and we've been very bullish, but what is happening in Japan that's been, we've seen it with Nikkei. Nikkei's been on a run as well. But against the dollar, JPY is having a nice run, isn't it? According to this chart. I was not aware. And look how high TDI is on this. I think this is a great opportunity this week. A possibility of sales happening when this announcement is made. We may see this drop. Like, that's the resistance right here. This is going to be interesting. TDI is high. Like, if you've been trading with us for over a year, you know the weakness that JPY has been having. And have we reached a pivot point on JPY? Yeah, that's what it looks like to me, is that we're hitting into this resistance area. And we may be selling off when the announcement's made. So something to keep an eye on. I'm going to put some alerts. I probably won't be up for that news. But tomorrow, we definitely want to look at this. Get the after effect. Like that. And it may take in a position tonight. I mean, everything is pretty high. Let's see. Yeah. Price action on the TDI is high on all time frames are the same. Kind of get a stretch here when you start getting to the 4, 5, 6, 7 is a little different, but then once you get to the 8, you're right at the top again. So any kind of exhaustion up here could lend to a sell-off. And you think about it, we're going into August. If you do have personal accounts, that this would be one of those ones where I'm looking at the weekly, and I find a nice zone or this sell fair value gap that you just hold for the month of August. And that's what this looks like to me. You hold this for the month of August. You get one of these long candles that fall down for August. I'm going to put this as, I'm going to highlight it because I'm going to come back to that. That's something I want to trade for the month of August. Some passive income. Put 1,000 or 2 in and just put the stop loss right up above and catch sales. It's all going to be contingent on what I see tomorrow, but this looks like something that I'm interested in. Chat, what do you think? Y'all ain't saying nothing. What do you think? Looking at yen futures. Well, it's giving us an opportunity because Nikkei's not moving. There it goes. Or no. Yeah, there it is. All right, cool. All right, so this area is holding up. It does look like we are going to push up a little bit. But you need it to stay above. I mean, I wouldn't get too excited about it. And maybe if you're up for another hour, you could take a look at it. But once it breaks through, you can see if playing around, pushing buttons. You can see if that works for you. Yeah, no movement tonight. But that's what I see. I think it's going to continue to push up. There is, I'm in the buys on this in another account. I took the buys off of the 7 o'clock candle, expecting it to push up to at least the 50. But I wouldn't recommend it for this just because you have so much conflicting information out of a range. You know, price would have to be retest down here, you know, and some of these zones down here. Where it's at right now, it's not ideal, but we are seeing it break that range here and start to push up. So let it push, keep going. We want it all the way up here. And if you were in it, if you decided to get in, just ride it. Just, you know, set your thing at take break even and just go to sleep. Ride it for the rest of the night to see, because it does look like we're getting that breakout. Does look like this is the reversal. Yeah, this may be the reversal. Or the breakout. We'll see. It does look like that. Starting to get that push up. And it has some room. It's moving up pretty fast, but it does have some room. So we're getting that push up. All right. I think that's what I got. I think that's what we got. I think we're going to end it for tonight. Thank you for participating. That is nails. Hold on, I'm just doing some stuff. Tim, what are you doing? I'm just doing I'm just checking on a few things. Okay, it's not coming through that way. I like this move. I wanted to check the profits. Well, no questions for tonight. Hopefully this benefited you and that you're able to take a look at it, see if you got some charting time in. I'm just multitasking today. Cool. All right. All right, perfect. Well, it's been real. Thank you for tuning in to Evening Markets. Appreciate everybody for jumping on tonight. I think we're going to call it for the night. I haven't seen the comments, but I think we're going to call it for tonight. We're looking at Nikkei pushing up to the upside here. It's breaking through some of this resistance. So maybe if it retests, if you're up for the hour, you can see the next candle open up. See if it stays on top and possibly catch that up to at least the 50 and then see what it does around there. But letting it ride for the night, going to break even and just wake up to those profits. But that's good enough for tonight. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Let's do it again. We'll be back on Thursday evening. We will be back on in the morning, Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. to talk morning charts and morning trading. We'll have the full crew on. All right, everybody. Have a good one. Thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you later.